jurisdiction with Sioux Falls. Any final action taken on the conditional use permit application tonight will take effect 5 working days following this meeting unless a written appeal of the Planning Commission's decision is filed in the Planning Office by Monday, May 1st at 5 p.m. In the event of an appeal, the decision will be referred to the Joint County Commission and the City Council for a hearing on Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023 at or after 5 p.m. The affected parties will be notified of the meeting date, and the joint meetings of the County Commission and the Sioux Falls City Council are held at Carnegie Town Hall at 235 West 10th Street. First on the agenda is public input. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on an item that is not on the agenda?
Excuse me, we're having a hard time hearing here.
Yeah, your mic's on.
Yeah, we can just have it on.
It's on.
No, we can't hear that.
Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I don't think the mic was on. Can you hear me now? Okay. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. At this time, the planning, pardon me.
I'm sorry. Got you. Yep. My name is Tyler Schillis, Sioux Falls resident. Can I talk for a second? Is that okay?
Is it anything other than what's on the agenda?
Non-agenda item.
Okay, go ahead then.
Yep.
State your name and address, please.
Tyler Childress, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I'm here tonight to talk about the short-term rental process. What's happening in the county level is they're doing a conditional use permit. In the joint jurisdiction, there'll be later dialogue about a joint jurisdiction between the city and the county for short-term rentals. And a quick pull up my notes here. 1 second, I'll be brief. I'm sure you got a long night ahead of you. 4 seconds here, sorry. So generically, I went and talked to Mr. Fletcher downtown. I talked to Scott at the Planning and Zoning. We've got all the documentation for all the different city and the county ordinances and such. What's happening is the city of Sioux Falls is taking a stance and saying that short-term rentals are a normal rental, whether it's 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, 12 months, etc. There's no difference. There's a thing you fill out, rental application. It's free of charge, costs nothing for anyone to apply. It takes your name, your number, your address, basic information for there. In the county, it's a conditional use permit. Worked with Joe and to figure out that. In the joint jurisdiction, we want to figure out what to do inside there. I'm recommending a permissive use. The reason why is because these properties are soon to be annexed into the city. Whether it's 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, they're in the future growth period of Sioux Falls. So the approach, in my opinion, should be where it steps in and it doesn't create confusion. Right now there is some confusion because City of Sioux Falls allows these. There's 300 plus of these. I asked for a list of how many rental housing in City of Falls, and they're like, well, we have no list for you. I can't quite generate it. Approximately 300. So I think it's really important as we create an ordinance to keep the government small, to keep things in mind. There are big issues that we have. Obviously, you can tell these are big issues. Some small issues need to say small issues. There's less than 3 to 5 in the joint jurisdiction that will be governed by a short-term ordinance. So I just want to keep that in mind as we move forward. I'll try to be at every meeting possible. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Chad Tyson, Berkshire Hathaway, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Good evening, happy Monday. Would like to speak for just a quick moment about short-term rentals as well for joint jurisdiction. I've been a resident of this great county for more than 25 years, lived in Sioux Falls as well as on a farm rurally in the county. The reason why I'm here today is that besides of personal interest, I have a professional interest in the topic of short-term rentals in the joint jurisdiction as well. You see, I'm a licensed real estate agent in the state of South Dakota. As an agent, I have a duty to be informed on topics related to home ownership and what homeowners can do with their property. I've been watching any proposed short-term rental ordinances very, very closely. My concern with any proposed ordinance is that there will be unintended consequences by creating a new ordinance surrounding real estate. Let me speak about tying this process to a conditional use permit process. With this ordinance, tying it to a conditional use permit, there's no guarantee that a current homeowner who is utilizing their property, say an Airbnb, as a Vrbo, or any future homeowner wanting to use those platforms to actually obtain a conditional use permit. At times, homeowners seeking to obtain a conditional use permit have been granted it. Other times, homeowners have not been able to get a conditional use permit. The reality is there's no guarantee of a conditional use permit being granted. There have been meetings where two people have sought a conditional use permit. One was granted and one was denied. Will this affect out-of-state buyers? Yes. Will it affect out-of-county buyers? Yes. Will it affect local buyers trying to purchase within a joint jurisdiction? Yes, but more urgently, this will affect current homeownership within a joint jurisdiction. Ultimately, I ask you to think about this question. Is any proposed short-term rental ordinance helping more people to obtain a homeownership and potentially make an additional source of income from their real estate? Or any proposed short-term rental ordinance, will it propose further limitations and restrictions on the ability for these homeowners to decide how they want to freely utilize and enjoy their property? Thank you so much.
Is there anyone else who cares to speak? Then we'll move on. At this time, the Planning Commission will consider the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are perceived to be non-controversial and meet all the requirements of the codes and regulations. The consent agenda will be acted on in one motion with no public hearing on the items unless a member of the public, the commission, or staff requests the item be removed from the consent agenda. The minutes from the January 23rd, 2023 meeting are included in the consent agenda. Next, I'll read each item on the consent agenda and ask if there are any issues or comments from the Planning Commission or the audience. And if there is any, the Planning Commission or the audience would like to be heard on the item, please raise your hand. The item will be removed to the regular agenda to allow you to address the commission later in the meeting. Any items remaining on the consent agenda will be approved by the Planning Commission with the conditions recommended by staff. The first item is the approval of the minutes of the January 23rd, 2023 meeting. Item number 2 is conditional use permit 23-13 to allow a public utility facility. It's a collector well on the property legally described as Tract 1 and 2. There is an exception of H-1, end of exception, northeast quarter, southwest quarter, section 29, township 102 north, range 49 west. That is in Mapleton Township. Petitioner is City of Sioux Falls. They're also the property owner. It's located north of Sioux Falls along North Ditch Road.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to pull that item.
Okay? So we'll be moved to the regular agenda. I will need a motion to approve the minutes of the January 23rd, 2023 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes on the county side.
On the city side, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please respond with yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Okay, we'll move on to the regular agenda. Scott?
Thank you. Scott Anderson, Planning Director for the county. It's come to our attention that this, as you know, this property is zoned RC, Recreational Conservation, and it has come to our attention from legal counsel that a public utility facility is not a listed conditional use in that zoning district. So we will need, it is a conditional use in the ag district, but not in the RC district. So we will need to amend the zoning ordinance to include that use as a conditional use. So I would ask that this item be continued until the July meeting, which would give us time to amend the zoning ordinance, get it listed as a conditional use, and then we can hear this item. So I would ask that it be continued until the July Planning Commission meeting.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to move the conditional use permit 23-13 to the July meeting. All those in favor?
Do we need to listen to anyone from the public, if they're here on the item?
Okay. I'll rescind all that. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to discuss this item? Okay, I have a motion on the floor. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes on the county side.
All right, on the city side, do I have a motion to move this item until July?
So moved.
All right, all those in favor, please respond with yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Any old business?
I have an item of new business, Madam Chairman,
What's
Madam
that?
Chairmans. I just wanted to let you know, there has been, as you know, some discussion on short-term rentals. It's my intent to bring an ordinance amendment forth, either for discussion at our next meeting, and then, once we have the details hammered out and I get authority or authorization from the Joint Planning Commissions, we will advertise it for a public hearing. As you're aware, has been under public comment, the county has moved ahead with adopting a short-term vacation home rental, short-term rental ordinance, and that has been implemented as a conditional use in the county zoning ordinance. That becomes effective May 4th. I wondered if it would be possible that to get maybe a consensus on whether the planning commissions would like this to move forward as a conditional use, or if you would like this to be a permitted special use or just a permitted use. And so, if you could keep that in the back of your mind. I don't want you to take action on it tonight, but if you would like to reach out to me, you give me some ideas, I'd appreciate it, and then we can go from there. So I'll just inform you that it will be coming, we will be working on something, and it'll be a discussion item at our next meeting. Thanks.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn on the county side.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
I have a motion, second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes on the county side.
Do we have a motion on the city side to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
It's all right, motion carries.
Thank you, everyone.